What is the difference between the forsaken and torn capital cities? Well, hello there. I'm Gwen. Thank you for joining me on my ongoing quest to create my perfect World of Warcraft house. In this series, I walk through my steps of how I got started. I document my trials and tribulations, making my ideas come to fruition. Thank you for being here. It means more to me than you know. Now, let's make it ours. I'm just going to voice over while I do a speed build. You just saw me change the two walls to generic because that's going to serve a purpose later for the vegetation and everything that we're going to put outside of the windows that we're going to build. Right now, I am grouping up the pillars because I want to make sure that they're all at the same height because they kind of look like they're floating. Then I use one pillar to base where the rest of my pillars are going to be off of, just to make sure everything stays in a straight line. Make sure you take a step back often and make adjustments early, because the sooner you catch the issues, the better it is for you. Don't be shy to use platforms to help keep equal distance on both sides, because the platforms will snap to the middle very easy. Then you want to go ahead and fidget with the walls till you get the look that you want. And these are going to end up being the guidelines that you're going to use later. I have changed my setup just a little bit because I have over 3 hours worth of footage. That obviously I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Now that we have the walls in the exact angles that we want, I'm going to take the curved elven tables and just kind of line them up along the guide and match the corners. Then what I'm going to do is lift the guides out of the way. I don't want to delete them yet, just in case, I mess something up. On the trellises, I'm going to go ahead and do 200 on the middle and then 175 on either side, just so you get some variation. And then we're going to go ahead and use the platforms for the walls above. At this point, we're going to use the woven rugs for the walls. The floor I made lush green. This is optional. It just kind of helps hide the glow of the marble. For the walls, we're going to go ahead and use the storm steel color and make sure the wall is pretty well covered. Take care to go ahead and try to hide the seams as best you can. Don't worry if you can't get it all the way hidden, because we'll cover it up later. The ends are okay, you just kind of want to angle it just a little bit. Again, we'll use vegetation to cover up anything that you might see. Take your time, play with it, fidget around, and make sure it's what you like. Once you go ahead and get the wall situated the way that you want, we're going to go ahead and pull out some windows because we're going to make it a sunset. So what I'm doing is resizing the windows and putting it towards the bottom because I want to make it look like the sun is sinking below the horizon. I want to make sure that there's minimum stuff to cover so I can have more fun placing the vegetation wherever I want it to go. I take care and make sure that the rugs are covering all of the windows. Next, I'm going to use the wooden chamber stick to make the effect of stars. They are a little fidgety. You can't sink it too far in, it'll just pop right back out. But then again, you want to make sure it is far enough so you don't see the little flame at the top of the candle. So again, take your time, fidget with it, make sure it's what you want, and randomize the stars, even make a constellation if you want. Once you have the stars all situated, then we're going to go ahead and start working on the vegetation. Make sure you pick random vegetation, make sure they're different sizes because you want to give the effect of distance and closeness. And then obviously make sure whatever vegetation you use, you cover up the frames of the windows, any seams in the rugs that you can't get rid of. Again, take your time, play around with it, put stuff in, take it out. If you don't like it, that's okay. Put something else in instead. Once you get that done, go ahead and move the windows back into place along with the walls, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the other side. As you'll notice on this side, I chose to do the windows after I got the landscape part done. It made it very difficult to get between the wall and the other wall as I was trying to place stuff. So I did find that this was easier to do. On this side, we've decided to add a fountain, or rather a waterfall, but I'm going to use a fountain and cover it up with rocks. So that way you get the effect of the waterfall without actually seeing the fountain. Get different sizes of rocks, play around with them, make them different sizes, put them at different angles, and then go ahead and put the fountain inside. And then you want to adjust the rocks so they're hiding the fountain, but not the flow of water. Okay, once I get that adjusted the way I want, I'm going to go ahead and start adding vegetation. Again, we want to pick different vegetation with varying sizes to give the effect of distance. And this side does not need to match the other side, but I do love that Azerothian fire tree, so I had to add it. Once you get all the landscape placed the way you want, go ahead and readjust the wall, add your stars. And honestly, there can be as many or as few as you want. Although I do notice the higher up they are away from the windows, the easier you can see them. Now that you have everything placed, go ahead and add your windows just like we did on the other side. Again, the percentages are 200 and 175 for the sides. And we're using platforms for the wall above. Oop, and I noticed I didn't hide a seam, so no problem. Just covering that up really quick. Okay, now it's time for the middle. So I'm using the curved platforms to determine the middle of the room because I want everything centered. I decided to use an elven carved box to kind of make the light fixture base stick out a little more. I went with a Valdraken chandelier, and then I decided to go with a fountain. And now I was trying to see if the rug would look really good, but I decided that on second thought, the rug would look amazing as a medallion on the ceiling. So I'm flipping it around and adding that. Then I decided I want to go ahead and bring some vegetation in. I couldn't really decide, so I went with the hosta. And as you can see, it's easily placed quickly. I did make sure that there was still plenty of walkway, so it didn't look too overgrown or filled in. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some wall hangings to dress up the walls just a little bit. I decided to use the Sindorai rug along with the elven shelf. I flipped the shelf around, made it smaller, and then fit the rug to make sure it went with the medallion. I sped up the video so you can see the other three. I put them on all 4 walls that had nothing on them. After I got that done, I decided that I needed to dress up the walls above the windows a little bit, and I decided to make my own crown molding, and I used the elven tables, and then you'll see it later, I dyed them horde red to match the pillars. And then I'm going to go extra speedy for the other side as well. For the end walls, I decided to go ahead and match the crown molding that I put over the windows, over the doors as well. I did try to use paintings, but it just didn't do the paintings justice. At this point, I decided that I needed to add some seating just in case somebody wanted to sit down and enjoy the view. So I went ahead and added the benches underneath all of the wall hangings on the 4 walls. And here's our finished product. Oh, I also did change the lamps just a little bit from the last time. I added some vegetation above the door as well, and I added the shelves to hold the lanterns on top. One is the Undercity, the other is an Utter City. Thank you for coming along with me as we bring this chapter of the quest to a close. Please smack that like button, hit follow or subscribe, and leave your inspirations, suggestions, and ideas in the comments. Until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, and thank you.